What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of the After You cast. Now, I'm sat down with a new face, somebody that you haven't seen on the podcast so far up to this point. However, it's through a mutual friend, somebody that you have seen quite recently actually, so shout out to Rachel. Big appreciation for this lovely lady for coming through. We're going to sit and talk about a few different things today that I think may pique the interest of the creatives out there that are interested into film, television, art, creativity, all those sorts of things. But before we get into all of that, would you please introduce yourself to the people?
Hi, my name is Jessica. I'm from London originally, and I am an actor / singer. So.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for coming on today, and I appreciate it. I got a message actually, funny enough, after doing the episode of Rachel, and she was kind of just like, I spoke with a friend of mine and she'd be interested in maybe coming down, and I was kind of like 100%, let's make it happen, because that's a beautiful thing about this space and like the online platforms and stuff now. It's so much like it's quite free, and it's like if you know the right people, you can kind of strike while the iron's hot, and you can kind of meet other people, and everything kind of just turns into an ongoing network of
like a domino effect.
Exactly, kind of like tentacles out in the atmosphere, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's really good that you reached out, and because there was something that I actually did want to have conversations about with somebody that actually is in the field. So I think it'll be cool to kind of get some of your views and ideas of your experiences and stuff. So before we get into the deep situations and all of the other conversations that I say related around film, let's just start off with you highlighting your kind of origin story, kind of like how you got into acting itself. Obviously you mentioned that you're from London and stuff, so just give a little bit of a background of how you got into acting and what you're up to.
So I think for me it was ever since I was young, I've always loved performing, and I would be we'd have family gatherings, and I'd make sure that my family were all there so they could hear me sing. Even my mum's birthday, I made sure there was a piano. We went to this place where there was a piano and someone was playing, and I was like, well, I'm going to sing now. So and I loved Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You, and so it kind of just started. So I always knew I wanted to perform, but I had the aspirations of being in Hollywood. That was one of the things until I grew up, and I decided Hollywood's not for me. So from there, and then I did drama at school, but I did it for A levels. I didn't do it for my GCSEs.
Okay, cool.
And then after that, I went to university to study acting.
What do you need to go?
So I went to Bournemouth and Paul College.
Okay, cool.
For 2 years to get my foundation, because I didn't know that Bournemouth has an actual performing arts campus. I know. So I ended up going to the college, which I didn't think was that great, but I ended up going there, got my 2 years, and then I ended up going to Southampton to do my last year.
Okay, all right.
So I made the 3 years.
Cool.
And I got that in the performing arts acting.
Yeah.
And then
so it's kind of been from an early age that you kind of knew.
I just knew, I've always known I just wanted to perform. It's just something, I don't know where it came from. I don't know if I watched something on TV or
well, like you said as well, Whitney, when you look at probably just even from having the confidence to want to sing in front of family members and get them around and all that sort of stuff, that's kind of probably where it's born there. And then it's probably down to having family that probably supported as well.
I think that's what it is.
Your family are just what are you doing? They could have easily said that, so
definitely.
Parents do have a very big impact, whether or not they agree or disagree, because sometimes you can go against the grain and say, you know what, I'm still going to do it anyway. But in our family setups, particularly black communities, Caribbean communities, kind of you kind of have to abide by what the families say until a certain age at least. So it's good that you got to kind of experience that from a young age and grow into it.
I'm grateful for that aspect. My dad wouldn't have wanted me to be an actor. No, he's Ghanaian.
So you'd have been like, what are you doing?
Yes, he doesn't agree, but
don't do it. Just what? I'm doing my thing.
You know, it's my life. So yeah. So then and then after that, after I'd finished my degree, I kind of just wanted to make money. So I got into different jobs. I was doing agency work. I was working retail. I did recruitment. And then that was like a year. I in my mind, it felt longer, but it was only like a year.
Yeah.
Because I then went on this website called the Stage website, which is like for performers and stuff. You can find jobs on there, and there was an advert for Carnival Cruise Lines, and I was like, let me just apply, like, and, you know,
let me see what's going on over here. Let's
just see. And I got a response a week later saying they wanted me to come in for an interview.
Nice.
So I was like, okay. And I went in, and it was for activity hosts, so it's entertainment host. So I didn't like go into singing straight away. But I only stayed 3 months on that. Oh,
and the whole gig in general?
Yeah, because it was a 6-month contract, but it was not a very nice contract.
Oh, yeah, so what, in terms of how they treated you, in terms of just overall everything?
Yeah, obviously I'm a performer, so I wanted to be performing, so that was in the back of my mind, but the treatment that we got on board was horrendous.
Really?
Yeah, like I had anxiety.
Wow.
Yeah, like I remember I'd go for a nap and then wake up and think I had to be working, or have dreams of working, and then wake up and be like, oh, like really panicky. It was it wasn't
so just intensive. I guess that's because you're probably on like the cruises and stuff too as well. There isn't, I guess, not much of a time off in a sense, is there?
Well, yeah, in that job, no.
It was just kind of probably just like all on.
Yeah, like we'd get half an hour a day for break, and we were working probably 80 hours a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it was stress.
So yeah, they got you on the cruise, and they're just like, if you was in the real world, they could, you'd have to go home.
Yeah.
Weekends, you'd have to. But once you're there and you're on there,
you can't go anywhere.
It's like, where you going?
Yeah,
you're gonna dive off and go swim in the ocean.
Do you want to die? Do you want to get eaten by sharks?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
so
no.
Yeah.
Did you get to visit some of the islands? Like, what was some of the routes and stuff like on the cruises?
Yes. Cool? So for that one, it was New Orleans.
Nice. Okay.
To Mexico, back and forth.
Okay.
So like 4 and 3 day cruises, and then we had a Journeys cruise, which was like 14 days, and we went to the Caribbean islands. Like it was really, really nice. But because I was working quite a bit, I got time off, but you know. Yeah,
it's not quite what you actually wanted to.
Yeah.
So that was short lived. What, like about 3 months? We said.
Yeah, 3 months. That was 2016.
Okay. Cool.
And then after that, I worked at Holiday Park, and then I also worked at Thorpe Park as an actor in the mazes.
Oh, okay.
So I was one of those people. So I was in
Fright Night?
I didn't get to do Fright Night because I'd left before that.
Okay, cool.
But I did.
Because they're committed to the roles. I was just going to say. Like,
I did do scare acting.
Okay.
But I did. Firstly, I did. I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. So we did
nice.
We just used to rotate different characters. So I was playing an Australian at one point, and then I was playing an American.
Australian.
Like it was just like that at one point, and then so just different roles. Which was really fun. And then I did the scare mazes, with Walking Dead, and
cool. Walking Dead
Darren Brown's Ghost Train.
Darren Brown's Ghost Train. I've seen that as well. Wow. So that's cool.
It was good. But I remember in the Walking Dead one, somebody actually tried to rugby tackle me.
Wow. What, on set? Like just
no, so so basically you're at the end when people come towards the end of the ride, and you're supposed to scare them. I've been punched, I've been pushed and stuff, but this time this guy came and he like lifted me up, and I found out that he was like autistic. So he had
so didn't necessarily
a carer with him and stuff, and she had to explain. She said, "I'm really sorry."
Okay, but that's different. But still, I can imagine you putting yourself into some positions. I can imagine, like, especially that's why I said Fright Night, because Lord, I've seen some people in there, they lose it.
They go
lose
all
it,
out.
and it's good. It is, because I think it's something you don't really think about, like the fact of actually being an actor or as a performer, if you will, and going into those environments. You kind of you don't see that other side of it, or from somebody's perspective. So like, it must have been interesting, getting to kind of adapt to a different role in the real world, because it's kind of like real life acting, as opposed to like on the stage performing.
Well, nobody can touch you. It's immersive theatre. So so that was that. And I left, and I remember I went. Then I got on the cruise ship, and That was 2018. So I did about a year and a half, and that's when I was a singer.
Okay, cool.
On the cruise ship.
Nice.
And the story behind that was funny as well, because so basically I'd got a job in Spain, part of a trio of girls singing. Yeah. So I accepted the job. I was like, learning my lines and everything, and I had auditioned before to be a singer on the cruise ship for the other ship, because there were 2 ships.
Yeah. Okay.
And basically I didn't get it, so I was focused on this. And then the singer they did choose, they chose that singer because she could play the guitar, and I could play the guitar, so they chose her. But her show reel was a lie. So her show reel was like, she was singing really well on her show reel. I don't know if she auto-tuned it, what she did, but when she got in front of them and they were doing rehearsals, terrible. The first day, the casting director was like, we need to get rid of her.
Oh no. Oh no.
It was really bad.
Yeah, they're brutal. The casting directors, they don't care. Like,
no, they want a show that looks and sounds the way they want it. So
yeah,
that's
they take the emotion out of it. They're just like, I don't give a damn. Like, I'm gonna get what I need.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Exactly. So then so
they kicked her out, and it was just like, you.
Yeah, like, well, basically it was through another agent who wanted me to be like, because she had shows on the show on in the ship, and so she wanted me to be a part of her thing. Okay. But she was like, I don't have space for you right now, but I know that. So basically, her name was Karen. I know that Karen's looking for a singer to replace, the singer that I had, and you can sing and everything. So this was, I remember, this was like on the Tuesday. I heard from them, and then on the Wednesday, Karen was like, "You've got the job." Oh, wow. And I had to fly out on Thursday.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
so you just
I had to sort everything, pack up everything.
So all the paperwork,
everything,
all of that stuff. Yeah. I've got a brief understanding of that. Going to the embassy, getting visas and stuff like that. I had to do for college, but when you got to go quickly, sometimes it's kind of refreshing. It's cool because it doesn't give you time to think and plan and prepare certain things.
Yeah, because so you just be all over the place. But then you're just like very focused. You're like, I've got to be on the plane in the afternoon tomorrow. I
can't mess about.
Yeah. So that was cool, and then obviously pandemic hit.
Of course, yep.
Had to come home. I actually got a singing gig with a Motown group, but I wasn't able to commit to that because I was moving. So this was last year, and this is when I was moving, and it was very stressful and everything. Yeah. And then taking up to now, I was a lady in waiting in Bridgerton. So,
I did see the photographs, and that was pretty cool. Yeah, I did see that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's that, and then I'm doing a short film now with a director, and and I've done a lot of extra work, so I've been quite a few movies.
Yeah, that's a great way to kind of get into the scene. A lot of people don't know of a lot of the young aspiring actors or actresses out there.
Yeah.
Doing extras work, music videos, commercials. There are a lot of different positions that you can line yourself up around the right people, because sometimes it'd be better to take some of those positions to get in front and around certain people.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it takes a look. It takes them seeing you or hearing you one time and being like, oh, okay, that person's got a bit of character, kind of cool, and it just kind of opens that door that you didn't know was there.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think Brad Pitt got his way through.
Precisely, yeah.
It started off as an extra.
Exactly.
And somebody just
and then,
saw him.
Now he would never be an extra. Could you imagine? You probably you know what? You probably would just because
it's like
he's
a cameo.
Humble.
Yeah, like a cameo thing. Yeah.
And he does kind of do those roles to a degree where he hasn't got much lines. He's a small role, but you can see it's a passion. He's a passion actor. Where I kind of think of guys like Edward Norton.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just watched Fight Club just the other day again, and I'm just
unbelievable.
Such a good, and
The Illusionist as well, by the way.
Oh yeah, The Illusionist is very good. Prestige.
Yes, my favourite. I was just about to get there. Goodness me, that is one of my. When I watched that for the first time, I was just like, wow. That was crazy. Anyone who ain't seen, go and watch The Prestige. Yeah, The Prestige is an unbelievable movie.
Well, watch it online.
Michael Caine. Yeah, you can watch it online and stuff now, innit?
Solo movie.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah.
Okay. It's on there.
Yeah.
Plugs.
Do you use Solo Movie?
No, I haven't.
It's really good. Like,
Yeah?
there's new films. Like, I think, well, Doctor Strange is on there, but it's
wow.
cam version. But
Okay,
soon
okay.
it's going to be HD.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So they get in it early.
Yeah. This is bad. This is piracy. But you know.
Alright, we might have to cut that.
Cut that out.
No, I'm joking.
No,
I don't care.
that was
Business.
funny.
Listen,
Oh my god.
life is life out here. We're living. I ain't got that many views yet.
Okay. Maybe you should cut it out then.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
but that's cool though. So yeah, I got opportunity to kind of do extras and Bridgerton and things like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool because that's current modern things that are going on at the moment. So like, one thing I do want to ask, obviously coming from an actor's perspective, is, you know, the form of acting, because what a lot of people think when they see acting is kind of this one dimension, this, you know, everyone does this one thing, when in reality, because I've got an opportunity to work on, you know, film sets and TV sets, and I can see how from the extras to the stunt doubles to the main actors to, you know, there's so many layers to actually acting. So like, what would you say your particular favourite is, and what you would like? Because I know you said performing, but would you see it more on stage, TV? Which lineup do you like the most?
I do think like stage acting in the long run, because I would love to be Nala in The Lion King one day. Yeah.
Okay, like the stage.
So, yeah.
That's my favourite. I'd say that's my favourite form of acting, because it's where the true thespians are. You know, it's where you're going to get the best form of acting.
Yeah.
And it's the delivery to an audience as well. I think that's really powerful. As opposed to sometimes, you know, I've worked on some, you know, little disclaimer, when you work on certain TV sets or you work on certain short films or even like certain movie sets, they go through so many things over and over and over and over again, and have the ability to do so because of, you know, it's easy now, everything's digital. You can just delete that, start again.
Yes,
delete that.
exactly.
Whereas back in the day it was true film, and it was just like, that's wasted, you wasted a reel. Whereas there isn't really wasting anymore. It's just they'll almost do a certain amount and just, we'll do a few more for extras. We'll film a couple of more extras just for backup, and you're just like, okay, I get it, but you can see how the game has changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you say stage, right? Have you had you said you want to be on The Lion King, I get that, but have you had an opportunity to do any stage acting?
When I was on the ship.
So you was on the ship?
Yeah, but it's more of the singing, because they call it, what we were doing, like music reviews.
Okay.
Because we, you know, do different songs.
Yeah.
But and then when I was at university, I did stage acting. But to be honest, I haven't done stage acting since since Thought Park, because that's again, that was a stage. But yeah, it's been a while actually.
Okay. Because we spoke a little bit, obviously, before this started about obviously how things are becoming so much more digital now. I mean, you know, YouTubing, social influencers, online content creators. It's like video and film is starting to go online in a much more quick and fast-paced way.
No, for sure, yeah.
So like, in one way, it's kind of opening up more opportunities and jobs for, you know, more actors, more just creatives behind the scenes in general. But in your particular case as well, like, where would you see you want to be heading towards the future? Would it be focused primarily on stage stuff, or were you willing to do like TV screen as well to kind of get yourself in?
I've always like thought of, you know, like there's that series on BBC, I think it's Lost in Paradise or something, or like I can't remember, but something like that. So smaller scale. And I feel that way because of how I feel about Hollywood and stuff. So
you kind of want to stay away from major Hollywood productions.
Like I had the dream once of people knowing my name and everything, but the price that you pay for that, I wouldn't.
I'm glad. You know what, that's quite a forward-thinking insight to kind of have as well. You know, I think what happens is in Hollywood, or even just in acting, anything that involves performing, you know, because, you know, my perspective, I'm coming from playing as a, you know, football, being in sport as an athlete, still has similar aspects of wanting to perform, because you're performing to a crowd.
Yeah, of course.
You know, there isn't really the football we see today without crowds and audiences and, you know, big stadiums. So there's an essence of performing that is necessary, but like in your case, it's kind of unique to have the perspective of like, you know, maybe I want to avoid Hollywood and like, because of what might come with that, you know what I mean? A lot of people, they just get caught up and they're like, no, I'm going to be the next such and such. I don't care. But I think that can be a dangerous thing to just throw yourself into, especially because I've seen it firsthand, how it can truly affect young actors and actresses coming through, because they come in with so much passion and energy and zest, and then they realise that, you know, it's so fickle in decision making for how you get a job, who gets a job, and then it kind of destroys the fabric of what you actually enjoyed. So
and it takes the passion away. So
I mean, we don't have to get into the why you don't necessarily like Hollywood. I mean, that's quite black and white, I can imagine, as we know. But if you are avoiding, you don't want to stay from that, are there any particular directors, producers, people that you've worked with or even look towards to be like, yeah, you know, I do like that style of work?
I like Guy Ritchie's movies, the way the cinematography.
He's quality.
I do really, and I like Michael Bay in terms of the action. Obviously, I remember when like Transformers came out, and I was like, Transformers. But I really loved that film, like the first one. The other one's got a bit, you know, but the first one I was like,
of course.
The way that his style of action and the way he pans out on the camera and the angles and everything, and
it's like big, everything's big, emphasized big, like,
and you know, he might start from upside down, and then I think it's
the 360 shots, in motion, and stuff like that.
I love that.
It's quality.
And
but I like Guy Ritchie though, because reality. I like his philosophy as well. As I say, I've listened to him speak a few times, and he's got a very strong philosophy on just his art form in itself. You can really see he's put a lot of time, effort and energy into who he is as an individual before wanting to just recreate and put out artwork.
Wants to keep it original.
It's his style.
It's original. And you know that's a Guy Ritchie film. You just know.
Precisely.
Like with Martin Scorsese, you know that's his film.
Precisely.
Quentin Tarantino.
Nolan.
Like Nolan. You just they have that stamp. The way he. So honestly, like those kind of. And then I watched. I watched The Raid yesterday because
wow!
Yeah,
hey, my dad loves that movie.
Your dad? Your dad loves. Your dad and I would get on. There we go. But like I watched the second one and I hadn't watched the first one. But like just the cinematography in that as well.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's so. It's
crazy.
It's really bad. I kind of like violent films. I've got issues.
Oh dear. I'm joking.
I'm like, oh dear, to myself. But
you know, the thing is, they have to go all out in certain movies like that. You just mentioned the Transformers of this world, the big budgets, but they have a big risk as well, because you know, if it doesn't quite work out, you spent all this money on, you know, all of the SFX, the visual effects, the big production, and then, you know, if you don't have a real good story behind it, or if it's not executed properly, you know, it can be considered a flop quite quickly. You know what I mean? So no, it's good to see that, you know, you've kind of got an inkling as to some of the directors and behind the scenes of like how they operate as well too. You're not just coming in like, oh, I just want to act, and whoever I act for is whatever. Do you know what I mean? I like that.
I mean, as like those kind of films are Hollywood, so I'm not trying to get there, but I appreciate the art and I appreciate what they're doing and how they create. So there's an appreciation there, but
that's good. So another thing I noticed, that obviously on your profile you talked a little bit about the modelling, and I know we briefly touched on this, but that's something that's a bit more current, and that's something you focused on recently, I'm guessing. So how or whereabouts did the idea for wanting to model come in? Is that a natural progression from stage performing and stuff, or is that just people hit you up?
How did it start? I feel like my I can't remember, to be honest. But I think I was just like, I just want to get some pictures. And then my friend introduced me to her photographer friend. And then I had some pictures with him, and then on Star Now, this guy just a photographer. He was like, "Oh, you look good. I want to see if I can take some pictures for my portfolio." And
cool.
that's where it kind of
okay, cool.
Came
so portfolio building.
Portfolio building.
But it's another stream of income again as well too. Like,
well,
if you get it right.
if if I was making money from it.
Well, it takes time. The thing is, what I found about art is you have to speculate to accumulate.
Yeah.
So essentially, you could be very, very skilled, and I know some people that are incredibly skilled. They can do some wonderful things in the artistic world, but they have no idea how to market themselves. They don't go and seek out an agent. They don't care to think about. They're just so in their art, and it's great to see because they can create amazing things. But my only worry or fear with that, and even for myself, was getting lost there and not knowing the importance of marketing. It's kind of irrelevant because it's like you're kind of waiting till you either pass away and somebody sees what you've done, or somebody comes in and knows how to sell it for you.
Right.
So I never wanted somebody to come in and be like, I can sell you better than you can sell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you are your own brand.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So that people capitalize off of that.
Yeah.
So I can imagine it's probably even tougher in your field, because with me I have like a tangible thing at the end of it. Say, look, here's my work, my portfolio. What's it like being on the other side of that when guys hit you up for shoots, or producers maybe hit you up for certain projects out of the blue, things that you haven't planned? What's that kind of like?
It keeps me going because it's like, oh well, I am doing something right. Do you know what I mean? Like I haven't had to force it. It's just come to me.
True, yeah.
It's like the law of attraction thing. So it's when your mind is in a certain frequency, you attract those kind of experiences, and so it keeps me in that mindset. So then I do attract that kind of thing, and it comes across more often. So it's funny because I was on the train the other day, like I mean, I haven't heard from her. I don't know if she'll message me, but I was on the train, like it was a few weeks ago or so, and I was just sitting there, and this woman, she just came on the train, and she's just watching me, and I'm like, what is she just staring for? Like, why are you staring? But I was just trying to, mind my own business and stuff, and she's just like, it's like, oh, do you do modelling? I'm like, a little bit, but like not
like that.
Not mainstream. She's like, you've got to look. I was like, oh, thank you. And she's like, I'm going to take your details and I'll email you.
So she was someone.
Because she works for is it Uniqlo, the clothes? And so they always get models and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. But I still haven't heard from her. That's the thing.
That is quite common again as well in the industry. It's very much like people are very excited when they see you, and then it doesn't necessarily always follow through. So it's kind of like you have to either be on the pulse if you want to do that, or just be aware that a lot of people are probably going to hit you up and actually not follow through. If that makes sense.
But I was thinking I should have taken her details, because I definitely would have followed that up.
See, that's the thing. Hindsight's a beautiful thing.
I know. But just
we can't get mad at it. We can't get mad at it. But it sounds as if that you've had like a fairly open-minded approach to what you're creating as an actor, being in that field, like going out abroad, singing, performing on stage, willingness to model. So like it seems like you're developing a nice package overall of how you want to market yourself, and also like the immersive stuff, like you talked about Thought Park and all that stuff. That's quite different, because I tend to find actors or actresses tend to be very one track minded. It's very much like, I want to be on TV. That's it. I want to be in films. I want to be in music videos, or whatever it is. And I think you kind of limit what you actually can do.
Yeah, you're limiting yourself.
Exactly. And I see it so often though, because like you said, some females or some guys have a look, and then they kind of get confined into that look, and it's just like they want to use them for those roles. So I can understand where you're coming from when I talk about the Hollywood perspective things, because once there is a stigma or a stereotype, it's very difficult to kind of counteract that. Not necessarily because you don't want to, but because the audience wants it, and the audience dictates what pretty much happens. Like very few directors or producers will go against the grain to make a movie or a production that the audience don't necessarily want to see, or it goes against what the audience are kind of like
they are catering for the audience. So
100%. So as much as we want to go away from trends, it ends up kind of being what is trendy, or at least popular. That is going to
mainstream,
garner the biggest industry. You know, so I think it's important for young aspiring creatives, actors, actresses to just be aware and be cognitive that you know, even if you have a specific style, is always to kind of keep that open-mindedness available. You don't necessarily have to do it forever. You're not going to be confined to it, but I think it keeps you, like you said, in the loop, keeps you going. You meet another person, and then that gets you to the person that might get you to where you actually want to go.
Literally, you're just saying what I was just about to say.
Oh, sorry, I stole it.
It's fine.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. Great minds think alike, right?
That is very true. That is very true.
So it's fine. But yeah, exactly. It's who you because you might think, oh, this opportunity, like this is not what I want, but it can put you in a position for something else.
Yeah.
And it just leads you onto other things and different networking, and you don't know who you're going to meet, so you should just take up every opportunity, as long as it's not going against your values or your morals or anything that like you believe in. Just, you know, be open. And as an actor, people know that you have to do so many self-tapes, and that really drives me crazy. I do not like self-tapes.
Walk me through this a little bit, because obviously I know a little bit from seeing some, but I don't know the process of like how many you have to do, what you have to do them like for. So can I give us a bit of a lowdown on that?
So for instance, I'll get a self-tape request from my agent, who's got it from another agent. So they've been like, we want to see you do the self-tape for this. So it's nice in that, like, it's not just a random self-tape. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've purposely wanted me to do it. So I get the email, and they'll give you instructions on how to do it, and it's really like annoying, because I get a lot of commercial self-tapes, and with commercial self-tapes they're always very like, they want you to do some sort of action, or like, and it's weird because it's hard for you to do that in your home environment. That's what I don't like about self-tape, is that I would rather just do it in front of a director, the casting director, so that they can direct me, you know, as to what they want me to do in their space. But yeah, so I'll do like a commercial self-tape. You have to do your ident, so you say your name, your age, where you're from. They'll often ask you if you've been in any conflicting commercials in the last 3 years. And so then you do the action. And it could be like some lines, or it could just be like a facial expression.
So it must be mad, like actually recording. Do you have to record them and film them yourself?
I have my like ring light and my phone there. And just you do what you can, and
so there'll be like expressive or angry face.
Like
say this angrily.
For instance, I had one today, and I had to pretend I was on a toilet, sitting on a toilet seat. But obviously I'm just sitting on the chair.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not going to actually...
You're not going to get that far into character.
No. You better bring me into the studio for that one. But
you better be a set.
It's not going to happen. So I was sitting on the chair, and like I basically had to pretend I was like looking on my phone at like some stocks or something. So this was for an investment commercial. And then all of a sudden I end up in a market, and people just walking. I'm still sitting on the toilet, but I end up in a market and people walking around, and I'm a little bit surprised, but I'm not really bothered. So then I go back to my phone, and then I get I see a stock that I like,
trending, or that's
trending. So I swipe, and as I'm swiping, I look at the camera slyly. That was really creepy, not like that. But, so I have to.
Must be incredible.
Oh gosh, like how many videos? Like 51 that I had to end up deleting.
I could imagine.
But
so we're like, no, I'm not doing that.
That looks a bit too creepy there. It's like the slide, but like you have to have a slide but surprised.
It's very subtle. They don't necessarily probably want over the top.
To make it look natural, but at the same time you have to show something to the camera.
I get you. It is a skill. It truly is. You know, I think a lot of people watch and see acting from the outside, and you know, it really is difficult, because I've even watched simple things like delivering lines, and I've seen big actors that, you know, in the middle of it have to be like, oh damn, I forgot.
Oh yeah, oh gosh.
And then they'll be like, don't worry, still rolling.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Come back around. And then they'll just like, you know, because I think it's atmosphere and energy as you're delivering as well. Because, you know, if you create a very hostile, tense environment, and then the actors, they're waiting and they're like, oh, okay, we're going to be ready for you in 5, and you're just, oh. It's just, I think there needs to be more of a process where you because for me that would be the director's job, because for me I would like to be a DOP one day down the line when I get a chance, and I think it's important to dictate the energy of the set and the environment that you have with the people, your crew, because that's going to dictate the kind of output that you're going to get. Because you can all create that hostile environment where we're like, all right guys, we've got to get this done, we've got to get that done, we've got to get this done, all right, cool, move that there, but that's for more preparation. I see that as, once I bring in the artists, the people who actually I hope to bring something to my production, I would want them to feel comfortable. I would want them to feel that they're in their frame of mind. Otherwise, I don't think you're going to get that authentic message come across on camera or whatever.
You definitely have to feel comfortable and relaxed. And I think as an actor, there's things that you need to do to prepare yourself for the scene that you're going into. You know, there's a whole thing of method acting. So I heard about Robert De Niro when he was in Taxi Driver. He actually, because he had to be out of breath for a scene, so he actually ran around the block to be out of breath. Like, you really just immerse yourself. And then there was like Heath Ledger with,
rest in peace,
you know, the Joker, and
he fully immersed.
Fully immersed,
and you can get lost, can't you? That's the crazy
it's psychological part.
It's so crazy to think that, like, even, you know, touching on Heath Ledger is I remember the first time I watched, because I'm a big Batman fan now, he's probably my favourite comic superheroes. I remember watching The Dark Knight the first time, and I was just like, where's Heath Ledger? Because I remember seeing his name in there, but I remember seeing him from like older movies, and he looked completely different. So I was in there thinking, I watched the whole movie through, I was like,
you didn't
I barely noticed until the end, being like, he's a Joker. Nah, I was like, that looks nothing like him, doesn't sound anything like him. He like created the Joker character and then went into who that person was, as opposed to him just acting a role. That's why you can really truly see that. But I'm very much on I like psychological thrillers. I like in-depth things that make you think.
Definitely.
If that makes sense.
The Matrix,
my favourite.
Okay, we are in the Matrix, by the way.
100%. 100%.
Please leave this in. We are in the Matrix.
100%. But some of us have been unplugged. That's the only difference.
Exactly.
Some of us have been unplugged from the Matrix. That's all I'm going to say.
Did you know that? Well, the whole story of the Matrix was actually by a black woman, Sophia. Is it Sophie?
Yeah, like there is that still ongoing saga of her fighting that situation, isn't it? It's like she's also, but I believe that she was, she's fighting for the writings of Terminator as well.
Yeah, I've heard
said that they were connected.
Yeah.
So I remember hearing that story when it came out, and kind of got watered under. People threw it under the water under the bridge type of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would not be surprised, honestly, based on the depth in the movie, the mindset of what it takes to create something that, complex. But at the same time, I mean, it was just incredible for me to just, and I'm sure most people who have seen it, it's just like, wow. The layers of thought process,
so many,
how that relates to the regular world, but it doesn't. And then, from every detail, I think that like movies like that, they really showcase the amazing detail of film and the power of great acting. Because you look at Morpheus's character, you even look at Keanu Reeves, they really embodied like exactly what you was looking for in that characteristic. You know what I mean? Like a lot of movies, they get close and you're like, okay, I kind of get that. But I think with The Matrix, it was the holistic approach to the film. it was like you could see layers of work had gone in before they even started filming.
Yeah.
From even the color grading.
Yeah.
How they made sure that certain things looked a certain way to make it feel more game-like or digital. It was just, they're so clever in terms
more like
of
coding.
more like coding. Like even the sound effects, like when you hear them transition between certain cuts and scenes, they'll use like chimes and little electronic digital signals in there to make it feel like you was kind of already in it. It's quite a multifaceted movie if you think about it. But
it's super deep.
yeah, like while we're on that subject as well, like name a couple of your favorite movies.
Well, Avatar, which is coming out at the end, is Avatar 2.
You're saying all my movies as well. This is actually said The Prestige, you said Matrix, you said Avatar. Okay, cool. I'm listening.
The Truman Show.
Okay.
Inception.
Like Shutter Island as well.
Yeah, Shutter Island.
Of course. That's pretty powerful.
Good Will Hunting, and I don't know how many people have seen that film, but it's super deep.
Yeah.
With Matt Damon.
No, I haven't seen
that. Robin Williams.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really good.
Yeah.
Just like,
No,
deep.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh gosh.
Those are some good ones.
Obviously, The Matrix is there.
Of course. You did say Fight Club.
Yeah, Fight Club. John Wick.
yeah. That's great as well to just see Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne come back together.
They put them back in that role.
They were clever in how they did that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of little cheeky similarities between the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. The characters are
They're really smart.
Oh gosh,
those are some good ones though.
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's on there as
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. And Memento. Yeah. Those films that I'm very much into, the films that get you to think, and those are the best films because
I agree.
As well, they show you. Okay, it's probably going to go too deep. I don't know. Like this is going to, but like it does show you what's happening in the world. Movies are used to.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah,
that's the beautiful
education.
Thing. And the truest way to find out, I see that a lot of people don't get that perspective because they essentially only really watch the content. They don't really I'd say
the message of it.
Yeah, they don't really I'd say that they kind of just watch it for the visual aspects of it. I don't think they pay attention to how the actual content was placed together. So for me, like, I like to watch a lot of directors' cuts. I like to watch behind the scenes interviews with the director themselves, and obviously the DOPs, so I can get more reference into how they kind of created these things. Because unless you're on a film set, unless you're on a TV production set, or stage theatre show, you don't really appreciate the value that goes into it. You know what I mean? Even going back to like stage shows, I remember the first one that I properly watched was, I think, Sweeney Todd. Back in the day.
Wow.
And it was just wow, just seeing how they have to remain in character, deal with even sounds in the audience. Not everyone's perfectly silent the whole time. I mean, of course, you get an older audience who used to go in, but this was when we was young, so you can imagine there's kids making little sounds, laughing.
Sweeney Todd, though.
Yeah.
Isn't that like, that's more adult, no? Sweeney Todd. Or when it was in theatre, was it like more PG?
I guess it was more. It was quite strong, but it was young kids there. Yeah, it was interesting.
This is the thing, like, I don't know if you've seen Doctor Strange, the new one.
Yeah, not the new one.
Okay.
But I have seen Doctor Strange in general.
Well, I just, what they're putting in these movies and how they're just desensitizing children, it's crazy. It's becoming more and more open, isn't it, in terms of what they allow from a young age. But the thing is as well, I don't think you can hide it as much now. That's the problem. It's what
social
children
media
are supposed to,
social media has no real limit. I mean, you say you have to be a certain age, young teenagers, 13, 14 to get on, but come on. you know, even
TikTok
at that
and all of
age,
this,
TikTok and the stuff that goes on there, and it's crazy. It is really crazy. But it goes back to what we briefly touched on before this, which was you kind of need to know who you are as an individual before you go online. And I say this a lot to a lot of people I sit down and talk with, is you have to find and discover who you are before you get a chance to like actually put your image out there. Otherwise it just gets misconstrued. You know what I mean? And then you get lost in it too. Because you're like, all right, am I really doing this? Or, you know, you kind of get lost in it. So yeah, I definitely say that my favorite version of film would be stage performance. It's because now that I know how film operates, I really appreciate that even more, because it's almost like a one and done. If they mess up a line, it's like they're doing it in the flesh, and there's so much more pressure and so much more. It
really, and I think that's why I chose theatre, because it really enhances you as a actor. You have nowhere to hide. If you mess up, people who are watching it, they don't know, right? It's how you cover yourself and you improvise. And I remember one stage performance, there was a guy who really didn't know his lines, and like I was just trying to get, you know, we had so many lines, right? And as an actor, learning all these lines, people are like, how do you do it? Like my brother's always like to me, how do you do it, Jess? But you know, there's methods, right? But he just wasn't, you know, doing anything. So literally, I just remember there was one time on stage we were just like stuck, and the other actress, she just came in, and I was like, wow, she did that so well. And she just covered him, because it was just poor. And that just shows you, like, you have no escape. Like, you have to, you will fall flat on your face. You just so theatre, when I watched, you know, the performance in theatre, I just have such an appreciation for it, because you can't 100%. Cut and edit.
No, like exactly, that's what I was gonna say. And you know, that leads me to, you know, even thinking about what I'm doing today, which is, you know, obviously I'm a photographer by trade, so the world of photography is now so digital and so reproducible, if you will. It's like you just batch edit content, cut out 500 photos, 1,000, and you can, you know, you can also shoot and film that much content at the same time as well. So you can get through, in an hour session, 2 hour session, you might get through like 500 to 1,000, maybe more photographs, especially that like fashion shoots, high fashion and stuff like that. And really what they're doing is they're like, I see it as, the more you take picture, the more you snap, the more you click the shutter, the less you've prepared. That's how I see it.
Because you're not looking at what you really want, and you're not focused.
Exactly.
You just
And I used to do that. I must say, like when I first started learning photography, because I'm still kind of learning how it works and knowing what I need to get, and
with all the settings and stuff,
I was always off. This is the thing, I was always off. I was either, I had the time input down, and then the exposure was slightly off, or the focus wasn't quite there, or the detail wasn't quite there, and I was always, one thing wasn't quite matching up, and I was always like, well, God, frustrated. But then you do get to a point where I didn't get so mad, because I realised I was putting a lot of time and effort into the planning stage, and it eventually pays off. What a lot of people do now, they pick up a camera, they pick up a phone, you got burst mode, you can take 1,000 photographs like that, and then you're now sifting through. And then what you have, and I had we had a conversation with somebody recently on the pod, and Carlington, he was talking about, now we live in this era where essentially you I can't remember exactly the phrase he used, but it was essentially you're hoarding, digital hoarding, in a sense. And I got to a point where I realized, I was just like, like I take all of these photographs, and then I looked at my hard drive, and it started making me uncomfortable, seeing like folders after folder with 500 photos in it, 600 photos in it, 700 photos, and I was just like, what am I going to do with this stuff? It's like this equivalent of hoarding in a way. And then I realized, okay, I need to start being a bit more selective about who I work with, and planning before, so that when I go into a shoot, I know what I'm doing. So now when I work with people, I'll work with them quickly. I could do a half an hour shoot. And someone would be like, oh wow, how did you get that so quick? And it's like, because I've really thought about it. I've looked at you, I saw what you are as a person in terms of a model. And then I look at the environment, and I plan exactly everything. So I think it goes back to, you know, what you mentioned before about some of your favourite directors, Guy Ritchie and, you know, Michael Bay's of this world. There's thousands of hours that go into the prep stage, and then I'm sure it's probably similar for yourself, like learning lines, and then you got to go deliver it, all of that, talking to the camera and deleting footage, but it's all part of the process. You know what I mean?
But planning propels you into getting what you actually want, rather than, you know, poor planning and just going into it blindly, and it just takes way longer. You know, you just can,
that's so true,
cut down the time immensely when you plan.
Agreed. Plan properly, plan correctly. What would you say is the one or two biggest things that have really assisted and helped you moving from your younger years into acting itself, that you could say, do even just skills or traits?
Just becoming more comfortable with who I am as a person, and knowing my strengths, you know, knowing what, and building on that and developing on that and focusing on enhancing that. And surrounding myself with the right people, like with the,
so what, like judge of character?
I think I'm quite discerning. I would say I've learnt to be more discerning as I've got older.
That is important.
So because it's about energy, you know, really. You are very much influenced by the people you surround yourself with, and you start to become like them. So you want to surround yourself with people who hold really good energy, energy that's going to feed you in a positive way. So
I agree. Those are two great ones. I mean, also want to highlight, you talked earlier about having that confidence from a young age to kind of like sing and in front of your family, get them, and, you know, just even just performing in general. So like, one thing I want to ask is that, from your personal experience, do you think that if you aren't very confident, that could be trained as an actor?
No, for sure.
You can learn that over time.
Yeah, you can.
That's good. Okay.
Definitely. It's about experience. You know, once you put yourself out there, and it's like, you know, the whole thing of taking risks. You know, if you stay in your comfort zone, you're not going to develop, right? But if you go out there, it will be like, I don't know if you've read the book Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
You just get out of my head.
So basically, it's like you come to a place where you feel uncomfortable because there's something that you know, on the other side of that, you'll get to that place of confidence, or that place of comfortability, but you have to pass that, you have to surpass that and get, you know,
it's like going through the uncomfortability in order to find comfort.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people want the comfort and think that they're gonna find more comfort.
Exactly. But and the thing is, you'll get to that comfort, but then there'll be something else that makes you uncomfortable. You keep doing that, and then the growth comes. And you never stop learning.
That's so true. And people challenging you as well.
Yes.
Well. Being willing to be around people, because that's one thing I can definitely say at this point in my life, is that I'm so grateful for the people who've challenged me from a young age in a positive way, you know, in terms of, that's not good enough, you need to improve that, and just being a little bit matter of fact about it, especially from a guy's perspective. Guys need that kind of tough learning sometimes. It's not always like, oh, we're going to figure it out, we're going to be fine. It's kind of like, no, life's going to slap you in the face, you better be prepared for it. And I'm really grateful for those people, because now I almost go into projects knowing that there's going to be difficulties, knowing that it's not going to be straight and narrow, as opposed to having this optimism of, oh, it's going to be all good. It's like, no, that's gone. There is no good. It's like, you create the good.
Yes, you have to create. Exactly. Stuff, you know? It's about choice, and it's how you see it. And and pushing yourself.
No, 100%. No, I echo that. So, moving into this current phase of life that you're in right now, obviously you talked about really being interested in stage performance and things like that. Would you see yourself as an ongoing stage actress? moving forward into the future, or would you like to try and jump into this more digital world that we're in, which is a crazy world, but it's quickly taking over, isn't it? You can see there are becoming less and less places for true just physical connections where people just meet up. They talk about tangible things. It's a lot more. We have these fleeting conversations now, where it's these loose, free flowing. Oh yeah, even in conversations, people are like, they say fleeting things. How are you doing? And generic stuff.
And
they don't really mean.
That
they just say it to be nice.
How are you doing? Like, that annoys me, because it's like, do you really care?
Yeah.
Do you really care? Like,
No.
it's just a social thing, and it's just to make people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But what comfort is that when it's not true? It's not genuine. It's like, it's just meaningless. And that's why I'm not really good with small talk.
Yeah.
I'm not one for small talk. Like, I have to connect.
You need to be stimulated with a serious conversation. Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm silly. I'm very silly. Like, I'm silly. Like, I like to joke around and stuff, but on a level, like, if we're gonna be,
well, you have to be friends with Rachel as well.
Rachel's quite deep, isn't she?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
and also very silly as well. So it's the perfect balance. It makes sense why you guys are friends. I can see this now.
No, she's So that's what I mean. So, and I'm not being funny. Like, this is going off topic.
That's fine.
But I'm not being funny. But I do tend to get on, and I maybe it's because I keep bringing up this narrative, and I probably should stop, because that's what I'm attracting. But like, get on better with guys, because I feel that there's more of a deeper thinking, because I do believe that you as men have been trained to focus more on intangible things, less physical things, where women, the nails or the hair, all of that stuff that I'm not like, you want to present yourself well, but if that's your focus of conversation, we're not going to have much in common.
I see what you mean. So from that, in terms of just like speaking to other men, and I'm not saying that all guys are like that, because I've met some guys who just have nothing to say, and it's just very fickle. But the majority of guys, I guess I attract on that deeper level of thinking. Well, that is it's a good sign, I guess, essentially, especially if that's what you're looking for too. Some people, if they ask for things, or they want things that they don't necessarily get, but I think it comes down to the energy of who you are. And you can sit and say, I want to be around nice people, ambitious people, positive people, but if your actions and your energy
if you're not doing you're not going to attract that. Exactly. The
people
action.
can smell it, they can sense and feel it. They'll be like, they're saying this, but I just don't get a good feeling. You ever hear people say, I just don't get a good vibe about that person, I just don't get a good feeling. It's because there's things that are unsaid that you haven't been able to speak with your voice, that your body said, or your actions have said, So I think a lot of the time when you meet people and you meet the right people, you kind of know before.
It's just a sense, and it's the spirits, right? It's your spirit just connects, and it's just sometimes you don't even have to say anything. You just gravitate towards.
It's an energy, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Energy. Especially, I mean, the artists and the creatives out there will understand what we're talking about. Is because you need to have that certain understanding of that energy, I think, when you create, because otherwise you're kind of just you're just producing things for the sake of it. You know what I mean? You have a skill, but that skill can just be used by anyone. And it's like, what makes big brands or great movies or great music special is the fact that there's stories behind them, and then there's people behind those stories that are real. So I don't think it's anything different in any other career path, and I think when you try to go against that, I think that's where you come unstuck at some point. You know what I mean? Because you're just not, as I said, you're not being stimulated. Then you start to just go through the robotic motions of things because you feel like it's making sense. So overall, that's a good thing. I think that's an overall good thing to have, which is you're attracting the individuals that make sense for what you want. You know what I mean?
So.
And I echo that as well. Like, I like to work with individuals, whether it's work or even just interacting with people that they're not surface level. Because you can only take so much from surface level conversations.
And
it gets a bit boring.
I can't. It does.
It does. It gets a bit boring. But To each his their own.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be out here. Just like,
yeah,
if you like simplicity and you know.
That's the thing. If that's the level you connect with somebody, that's fine. Like everybody has their thing. It's just,
But that's the beautiful thing. Like you said, everyone's got their thing. So like they can have that. Other people can have other things as well, and we can all kind of still coincide and get along.
Yes.
Just knowing that we're
be
different.
civil.
It's almost like knowing what you want and knowing what you don't want.
Yes.
You kind of need to have a map for both. So like overall, I mean, I think that, you know, my sister had some light experience working in theatre. So I got to see her like perform ballet at a young age and then go into like some stage shows and stuff, and you know, it takes so much like confidence to get up on a stage and perform, and a lot of people just underestimate that. But I think that's character building at the same time, you know. It's not, you want to kind of travel down the path of least resistance most times, but I think the people that end up going down a tougher road, they tend to find some results and some like success down the line, because like I said, less people are willing to go that way. You know, they don't want to they don't want to stay disciplined and committed to something that isn't maybe bringing them monetary value right now.
I think the whole thing is chase your passion, the money will follow. 100%.
It's a byproduct. Like successful people, money becomes a byproduct of what their successful or their passion is.
You know they work so hard. Like,
there's very few people that I think just make a lot of money from things that they don't enjoy doing. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't tend to last. And then, you know, you don't think about the nuance behind it, so you don't try to improve it. You don't try to go in like, okay, that worked, all right, I'm going to tweak that, reinvent that bit to make it better.
Work as well.
Exactly. So all that happens is you just kind of, it works, cool, it makes me this much money, cool, boom, and it's just an empty process along the way.
It's a slave to the system as well, essentially.
100%. But no, it sounds like you have, like, you know, you have your head on your shoulders, you know, you're very aware of the system that you're in, which is important, but more importantly, you know, you just have like a very grounded approach, and you know, that thespian like approach to, you know, acting and filming itself. So no, it's really good to see, and it's really good to obviously sit down and have a conversation with you as well, because as I said, like, where we come from in Slough, like, this is why I was really pulled to create this platform. It's because I see, and we joked about this beginning of, like, you know, Slough not having necessarily a lot, and it is a reality, because unfortunately this is like a through town. You know,
just
people come and they make their way through, and it's either a stopping point or you know, people come in, use it for a bit, move on. It doesn't tend to be a place that people stay for very long, and if they do, it tends to be because they don't want to. Whereas I would like to be able to create at least something that, you know, can change and shift that narrative, so that the people that are born and raised here, that are from here, they can look towards and point towards something where they can say, hey, I'm proud to be from this area, and proud to be connected, knowing that people like he exists, people like she exists, and then they come from where I come from too. And I've always said it, like, places that aren't very that don't promote art and creativity, they don't tend to last very long, or they end up being just like places where people use, as I said, like battery cells. You know, you gotta have art, you gotta have creativity. And if there's no music, there's no art, no culture, people would never really respect that place.
What's it known for?
Exactly.
Sleepy town. Exactly.
So that was kind of why I thought After You Cast would be great, because it just starts to bring people together, and now you can point and say, oh, this person was from Slough, or lived in Slough for a short time, or knows people from Slough. It just opens up and changes people's mindsets of, like, the narrative of what's been told, which is that if you're from here, you're basically limited, you got to move. And it's just like, in some cases, depending on your job or your industry, that may be the case. It isn't necessarily a creative place. However, once you do have certain creative skills, like I've been able to acquire, I feel more comfortable, you know, showcasing them here where I'm born and raised. Because it's like I'm not begging some other town that I'm not from to give me an in. Like you go somewhere else and like, oh, you guys shout me out, and they're like, you ain't from here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just like, all right, cool, we'll get to you, but there's people from here we'll get to first.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas here, I know I'm going to have the autonomy to say, no, I'm born and raised here.
Yeah.
I can make connections. I can go talk to local businesses. I can go talk to schools. I can go back to my old school and talk to students. Because it was amazing for me when I go back to, you know, Herschel, and I go back to the old school and get to see young people, and they can look towards me and be like, oh, well, he's from, it's like, oh, and you've done that. And you've done that. So you open their eyes in a different way.
Yeah,
and then
that's so inspirational.
I mean,
it's what you want to do.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that's what we all kind of want to do in a certain way. I don't think it's like special by me. I just think that I'm just trying to act upon it and then just draw some people in with me. And you know, if you're on it, you're on it. And naturally, the people that have come on the podcast, they all love it. They're all positive, and they're all, funny enough, doing quite well in their career paths. Because you know, when you got that energy, it precedes you.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I think this is a really good platform, and what you're doing is amazing.
Thank you so much.
Keep going.
100%. It's not going to stop now.
Yeah.
It can't stop now.
Yeah.
We're into season 2, and that was part of it. I wanted to get through and get to that point. You know, when you start projects sometimes, and you're like, I kind of want to just get into the next phase of it, so that I know it just ain't going to stop.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you start things, and unfortunately, because everything's so quick now, we kind of get into that and we move on quickly.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to know that, you know, you need to put like building blocks down.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stay in something and work your way to getting it to a certain place.
Yeah.
Or
like you said, like you had to sit there rehearsing lines, and you're sitting with your ring light, doing self-tapes and stuff. It's like no one really sees that.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the unrewarded work.
It's like, and I said, like with theatre productions, like just even watching like Lion King, all the work that goes into it, and people see the final product, they don't know everything that goes into it, the rehearsal,
costumes.
It's crazy. So that's where you have to have that appreciation. I feel like anybody, I mean, even if you don't like theatre, but just appreciate what, you know, the process of it.
Yeah, no, you know? I agree 100%.
Not just sit there and be, oh, that was shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
listen, if people are saying that they don't need to be winning.
That's what I mean. Like, get out there.
Like, who spends their money to go and watch a theatre show and be like, oh, that's terrible? Like,
but they do. Like when I was like, even when just watching like acting. I mean, back in the day, like when we'd go and watch the acting, I probably didn't have that great appreciation either. Yeah. Just because I was younger, even though I was doing theatre. But like, people would watch it and be like, oh shit, that was rubbish. What was blah blah blah. Like, stress. But now, you know, really looking at it, the work that goes into it,
crazy. It's proper crazy. It's commendable.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
And as I said, they're kind of like unsung. You know, they don't really get shouted about.
No.
You know, a lot of people just not really know they exist, but you know, the true thespians really do keep the art alive. I think when it comes to acting itself. So that's something that's kind of cool to sit and talk with somebody who's like passionate about like the, you know, the stage side of things, as opposed to like, I want to be on Hollywood, I want to be on the biggest movie, and it's like, that's fine as well. If you want to do that, as I said, everybody has their own lane, but I like diversity, and I like speaking with people who appreciate the foundational form of things. So with you, with acting, you could say the foundational form of acting is stage. Because it's real, raw, and you know, you can mess up.
That's the training area.
No second chances. And you know, like with myself in football, I enjoyed training, but like when you play games, you mess up on game day, that's it.
I know.
There's no bringing the time back.
It's like the exam, isn't it? It's like you know, revising, and you have so many weeks to revise, and then exam. That's why I don't like exams. Like, I think it's a scam.
Formal exams is I wouldn't say it's the most accurate way of you know, gauging people's intelligence.
No, not at all.
You know, I was one of those ones where I didn't like exams per se myself. I mean, I tended to do okay on them and do pretty well, but I always thought like, a better way to like judge this. But again, you're dealing with like a whole system, and they're like, they can't necessarily educate and teach people the way they want individually, because it'd be mayhem. Imagine if everyone had their own syllabus, if they had their own focus. But I think there is a way we can compromise and learn to at least restructure and evolve the system so that we can kind of cater to the new ways of thinking. Because let's be honest, young kids nowadays, it's not like we had to go and read scholarly articles and journals and go and do homework and research the same. Now research is just click that and just Google that and get that site, that source, and it's crazy now, isn't it? Got to a whole new phase of content creation and just art in general.
I mean, school system's another topic that I could go on about.
That's a whole different topic. We could
I
go
just
on.
think life is,
especially as an
lesson.
actor, I can imagine, because I know anyone who's into art, particularly on the form of performing art, like yourself, they really don't like school. And I know that because I went to art university. So it was a private university where we didn't do other basic general studies, maths, English, science. They were not interested. Like, you go talk to somebody in the animation department or fashion or anything, they don't want to hear about maths. They don't want to hear about science. Not interested. They're like, no, I do animation, I do cartoons.
That's what it's your focus.
100%.
Like
100%. So like, I think it's key that, for the people out there listening, they kind of hear your perspective and get to see people as well too. That's why I said I think these virtual conversations can only go so far. I think how you really solidify connections with people and you actually show them who you really are, sell yourself in a way, you have to be in front of them. You have to be willing to be brave enough to speak what you feel, you speak what your mindset is, you speak your creations in the flesh. You know what I mean? So again, thank you big time for coming through. I really do appreciate it.
No problem.
And another big shout out to Rachel for this is the good thing, when you have good people that you work in and around, it links you to other good people. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes, as I said, you have to speculate to accumulate, and as you're trying to get somewhere in life, you never know who's connected to who. So always carry yourself the way you want to be seen.
Yes. You attract what you want.
100%. 100. But before we leave the beautiful people, I always like to leave some words of wisdom out there. So I know you've already given so many great nuggets and gems of advice, but I mean, like, for equivalent of, like, let's say a young teenage girl up and coming right now, looking at maybe acting and wants to get into that field, what kind of words of advice would you kind of lend to her? Or him? It could be a guy as well, because you're qualified enough to speak to both. But that's just definitely.
Just have an attitude of focus, determination, resilience. You're going to get rejection. It's part of the game. It is. But it makes you so much stronger as a person, regardless of your acting skills or whatever. You just strengthen as a person, and it's like, I get a no, okay, but I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep pursuing this because this is the goal I have in mind. I visualize it, I can see it, and I'm going to get there. Like, you just have to have that mentality. It's about being strong, really, and that comes with experience, and that comes with the rejection, and knowing that not everything's going to be for you, and it's okay. Like, let it go. Don't hold on to it. Don't let it fester in your spirit to the point where you're just like, I'm giving up. It's visualize it, see, and also what's his name, that actor who was in
which movie?
I'm trying to remember his name.
Which movie are we talking? What's he been in?
He was in Maleficent. Did you see Maleficent?
No, I haven't seen Maleficent.
And there's other movies that are so much more prominent that he's been in. You Doctor Strange, right? The black guy who's
Chiwetel?
Yes, him. Yes. His name?
Yeah, Batman. He's a rude boy actor. He's been in so many movies. It's one of those ones, isn't it? Because he's one of those actors. He's like a hard name to remember. Yeah. But then you've seen him so many times.
So many times.
You've seen him so many times.
It's his name. Yeah, and I don't want to pronounce it wrong and everything.
the movie I'm thinking of is The Inside Job.
Inside Job.
Denzel.
Yeah. Like, he's a brilliant actor. I just
Let me
remember.
check his shoot.
See, I don't remember all the quotes.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Alright, you gotta go read back.
I'd probably have to watch that, again, because that was a while ago.
Listen, he's a great actor.
Yeah, he's a brilliant actor. So with him, I just remember, I think it was his sister was talking about him and saying that every day he would read a script from Shakespeare, just read it, and it wasn't for an audition. He didn't have anything coming up, but he was in the mindset that he was going to be doing, acting and being a Shakespearean play or whatever. So every day he was doing that, and he prepared his mind for that. So he set himself up to do what he loves, right? And then opportunities started to come, but he had to put the groundwork in first, not just think, just wait until I get an audition and then I'm going to prepare. He was preparing because this is his passion, and if this is what you want and this is what you love, go at it 110%, and act as if you've got the job already. It's there, it's waiting for you. You just have to prepare for it. So
that's real talk right there.
There you go.
I like that. Yeah, people, I hope you guys have enjoyed like this kind of breakdown and hearing from the perspective of a performing actor, an actress who's actually been in the field as we speak, because we see so many people, and particularly in the art and creative world, who we only see their profiles. We only kind of see what they put out, the finished product, like you said, but we don't really see a lot of like what goes into what made them and who they are. Even in formal interviews, sometimes you sit down, the questions are so based around the generic stuff, like who's your favorite this, who's your favorite that,
or just about the actual project that they've done.
It will only be based about, you're also an artist, we'd have to talk everything to do with acting. Actually, whereas like, as you see, we've kind of we talked about quite a few different things that relate and gotten you to where you are. And sometimes the key in who you are is the unknown things that we don't really discuss much. That's kind of what makes up things and who you are. So again, I appreciate you coming through and sharing that with the people, and obviously as well just getting to sit and talk with you. And we've got a lot of things in common from different movies that we're interested in, with books that we've read, and as I said, the energy is reciprocated. You put the right energy out and you're going to receive probably the same type of energy back. So keep that in mind. I always like to leave people with a few nuggets as well. Where can the lovely people find you online? Are you just mostly Insta, or are you on?
I'm on Instagram. So it's Jessinger.x.
Okay.
JESSINGER.x.
Okay. Alright, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first time we're getting you to come on here, and I know that you're in between Slough. You've had some connections here, but obviously you're London as well, so maybe down the line we're working on other projects. It'd be cool to get you back on again.
For sure.
Talk about what you've been up to since then, and maybe even go a bit deeper. We might even go to some other stuff as well. Who knows? We should talk about like some of the movies and references that we talked about today. That could be interesting. There's a few. And go deeper into the Matrix.
Deep into the rabbit hole.
Tell me about it. See how far the rabbit hole goes.
I'm telling you.
All right.
It goes deep.
The lovely Jess Singer. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you.
Go follow her. I'll make sure that the information's in descriptions and stuff. And without further ado, we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
Peace and love.